in this video, I'm going to talk about adding and subtracting fractions, but the fractions I'm adding and subtracting has been written as mixed numbers. So before I begin adding and subtracting, I want to turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So here I've got 2 and 5 sixths, and I immediately clue into the fact that I'm using sixths here. And I say, well, how many sixths are in 1? There's 6 of them. And then I've got 2, so I've got 6 sixths and another set of 6 sixths plus my 5 sixths. 6 plus 6 plus 5 gives me 12 plus 5, which is 17 sixths. And my other number here is 3 2/3. So I've got thirds I'm looking at, and I know that there are 3 of those thirds and 3. So I've got 3 thirds, and I've got 3 thirds again for my second whole, and I've got 3 thirds again for my third whole, and then I've got my plus 2 thirds. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11 thirds. Now that I've got my fractions back, I need to use common denominators to add these two together. So I see sixths and I see thirds, and I say, what's a good common denominator for both of those? What's a number that both 3 and 6 go into? Well, 3 and 6 both go into 6, so I'm going to use that as my common denominator. I'm going to keep 17 sixths the same, and I'm going to turn 11 thirds. I say 3 times 2 is 6, so I'm going to multiply by 2 on the top and on the bottom. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times 3 is 6. So I've got 17 sixths plus 22 sixths. I know my answer is going to be in sixths. 17 plus 22 gives me 39. So my answer is 39 sixths. I need to change that into a mixed number. So I think of my sixes, and I'm trying to get as close as I can to 39. And I know 6 times 6 is 36. So I am going to have 6. And that gives me 36 of my 6 already. But I need 39 of them. So I've got 3 more sixths there. So I've got 6 and 3 sixths. I could also call 3 6 1/2 and do 6 and 1/2 as my mixed number there. Let me move that up. So that could be my answer. In my next example, I'm subtracting fractions, but I'm doing the same thing. 5 1/2 needs to get turned into an improper fraction. I see that I'm using halves, and I know 5 is 2 halves plus 2 halves plus 2 halves plus 2 halves plus 2 halves, or 10 halves. And then I've got plus 1 more half, so that gives me 11 halves as my improper fraction there. And then here I've got minus. I've got 3 1/5, so I've got 5 fifths plus 5 fifths plus 5 fifths, or 15 fifths plus 1 fifth, which is 16 fifths. Then I need to get my common denominators, and there are no numbers close by. So 2 doesn't go into 5, and 5 doesn't go into 2. So we need to multiply my numbers together to get common denominators. So 2 times 5 is 10. That will be the denominator I'm using. So I say, well, 2 times 5 is 10, so I'm going to go times 5 times 5. 11 times 5 is 55. And then over here, 5 times 2 is 10. So I'm also going to multiply 16 times 2. 16 times 2 is 32. So I've got 55 tenths minus 32 tenths. And I say, well, something tenths. 50 minus 30, 55 minus 30 actually, is 25. And then I have to take away 2 more. So I end up with 23 tenths. Right, 23 tenths. And if I'm trying to put that as a mixed number, I see that I've got 20 tenths, which is 2 wholes, and 3 more tenths left over. So I've got 2 and 3 tenths as the answer there.